YouTube, it's China, and this is my 1 week post-op VSG update. Woohoo! I'm not exactly in prime condition right now, but we're just gonna roll with it, because as you can probably imagine, it's been a long week. Yeah, so I made it, I'm alive, not too much pain, and what I do have is being controlled with pain meds, so woohoo for that. So let's dive in, shall we? I thought I'd start with how my hospital stay was. Not too bad. I got there and checked in and everything, and I think within an hour, maybe an hour and a half of arriving at the hospital, I was in the surgery. So not a lot of waiting around time. They were actually ready to take me earlier, but there was a little bit of a mix-up with the blood bank or something like that. So not a huge deal. They just forgot to give me my wrist bracelet thing at the when I got my blood drawn prior to surgery. And so that caused a little bit of confusion, but it all ended up fine. So what happened? I go in there and they put an IV in my hand, which I was really thankful for, because the IVs that go in your wrist kind of freak me out a little bit. I mean, that go in your elbow kind of freak me out a little bit, because I know there's no needle in there, but I'm still terrified of bending my arm, which I know is silly, but I was just thankful that they put it in my hand instead. And then they put these air compression boots on me and took me away. And when I woke up, I was already in my aftercare room, my after operation room. I don't remember what that's called. And I was on a pain pump that could give me medicine every 6 minutes if I needed it. I was in a little more pain than what the pain pump could initially take care of, so they just shot some more in there. And after about a half hour, and after they kind of got ahead of the pain, it was totally fine. But I was in, I won't say like bad pain, but I was feeling a little bit of discomfort, or maybe a little more than discomfort, but it wasn't too bad. And so after that, I just kept clicking the pain pump as I needed it, and it went straight through my IV. And it was sucking on ice chips, and they have this like little sponge on a stick where you dip it in the ice chips once they've melted a little bit, and you get like really cold water and out of this like spongy dew. And that was actually really helpful, because I couldn't swallow as much as I wanted to, and so then I could just suck on that for a little bit, and that was nice. The next morning they did a leak check, which is basically you swallow some foul tasting fluid and then, sorry, my hair is like a total mess right now. It's debacle, so I'm like constantly seeing myself in the mirror and wanting to fix it. Anyway, you go down and drink this liquid in the x-ray lab area, and then they actually like stand your table vertical, which when they said we're bringing up the table didn't really compute that they weren't bringing it up horizontally but rather vertically, so that gave me a little bit of a start. And then they take pictures of your innards and make sure that the staple line isn't leaking. And it wasn't, so that was great. No, like they talked to pre-op about the possibility of bleeding and leaks. Like those are your two main short-term issues, and I didn't have any problem with either of those. As a singer, one thing to note, when I was talking to the anesthesiologist, I asked them to use a smaller tube like that goes down your throat and between in your larynx and everything, to kind of prevent damage. I mean, they're great no matter what. Usually, at least this Beaumont has been great, and they were great about my request. So they used a smaller tube. I did feel hoarse a little bit after coming out. My uvula was so swollen it was like touching my tongue, which was unpleasant, but not too bad. But they were very good about using the smaller tube. So that was good. I spent the night. They did constant checkups, so there wasn't much sleeping, but there was a lot of care. So then I came home the next day in the afternoon, like around 4, I want to say. Thank you to One Gorgeous Godzilla. Shout out for the idea of bringing a pillow with me, not only to keep myself more comfortable while in the hospital, but also to brace myself against the seatbelt on the way home. That was really nice. It was storming here in Michigan on the 26th, so that was, on Tuesday. And my boyfriend is a great driver. He's a very steady driver. He did a great job, but I was thankful to have that little cushion between me and the seatbelt. We ended up having to call in 2 prescriptions, a pain medicine and a nausea prescription, to my pharmacy, and we had to pick those up in the rain. And luckily, they let Evan just go in and get it instead of me having to go in and get it. I called them and I was like, look, I know that you're not supposed to do this, but I'm going to give him my ID. I'm calling you ahead of time. Please don't make me get out of the car in the rain after having just had my stomach stapled. Like, can we just be okay with this? And they were really good about it. So go Kroger Pharmacy. And so since then, the first couple days I was pretty, not totally out of it, but tired and achy, and I now understand the term gas pain a little more than I did before. And I actually had a lot of pain in my shoulder, which I thought was really strange. The doctor said that it had something to do with the gas, and the gas rises and ends up in your shoulders. Okay. I just knew that my shoulder hurt. Also, I had a weird experience, and I haven't heard anyone else talk about this, of having hiccups. Every time I tried to stand up for a little while, and those hurt. The hiccups hurt. That was probably the worst pain, was the hiccup pain. But now that I'm through it, it's not a big deal, considering everything that I've got to gain. I have a little thing that I breathe into. It's like a little tube, and then it has a little structure that like monitors how much you're breathing in to make sure that you're expanding your lungs, preventing pneumonia. As a singer, I'm kind of like, cool, this is going to be a fun new toy. Especially for when I have an asthma day or something. It just helps me focus on breathing, and as an opera singer, that's awesome to have a tool to do that. But as a weight loss surgery recovery patient, it's good because your stomach is sore, so you don't want to breathe in as much as you usually do, and then problems can happen, like pneumonia or just not getting enough air in your body. So that was kind of interesting. I've got my notes down here. It's a little bit of a cheat. Most of the pain was actually not around my incision area at all, which I thought was interesting. The incisions are super small. I'm talking like smaller than the width of my thumb. Okay, so like smaller than from here to here. And the biggest one, everyone talks about the big incision where they pull out your stomach. My doctor actually did it in my belly button, and you can't even tell it's there, which is, I mean, I can because there's bruising and like this glue stuff over it, But I would imagine that give it a couple weeks and you would have no idea that it was even there. And the other ones are like pinky whip. So, like, seriously, I'm not worried about scars at all. So I have like no incision pain or anything. I had like some shoulder pain, some back achiness because you're not moving very much and you're just lying there and for most of the time. So it was mainly just achy pains. I'm still on a little bit of my pain medicine, but not as much as I was before. And I'm gonna go see the doc on Thursday, and I'm sure they'll be like, just take Tylenol at this point. So, you know, instead of like the heavy dose of pain medication that was giving me some pretty trippy dreams, let me tell you. Other than that, the other thing I wanted to talk about was food and water intake. I've just started journaling it. I know, I'm bad. I took a week to start journaling, but seriously, I was in loopy land for most of the time. Or if not loopy land, I was just really tired, and the last thing I was thinking about was writing how many bites of yogurt I'd gotten down. So, for the most part for food, I am getting one of those little Greek yogurt cups and pouring some protein powder in there. And it will take two sittings to get a small cup of Greek yogurt into my body. Like 2 sittings, at least 3 hours apart. And I try to do 2 of those a day. And that gets me up to, let's see, the cup itself is 11 grams of protein. And then on top of that, the powder is another 6, so that's 17. So then that's like 34 grams. And my goal for right now, until I'm on regular food, is 40 grams. So then I just like add some soup made with milk. And that basically is what I eat. 2 Greek yogurts and maybe like 3/4 of a cup of cream of chicken soup made with milk. What? Like, I don't know how much people's food bills go down over time, but I feel like mine's gonna go down extensively. But that's great, you know. I'm excited. And then I mostly drink water and Arnold Palmer half and half zero, which I mostly found at 7-Eleven, surprisingly. My boyfriend and I have always drank a lot of the Arnold Palmer half and half light, which is like 50 calories per serving, but they actually make one that's 0, and there's no sugar, there's no anything in it. It's basically just kind of flavored water prepackaged. So I might drink one of those during the day, because that's a little easier to measure, you know, because you have like a tall can of it. And so I know if I get 2 of those in, which again, not the best, but hardly ever happens, then I've met my 40 ounces. Today I had 1 plus a little bit of apple juice plus a little bit of water. So we're probably somewhere around, I think I wrote it down, like 30 to 35. Yeah, a little less than that. But ounces today. My goal is 40. I'm just finally starting to be with it enough to actually attempt to meet that goal. I think I've heard at least that it takes a while to get there, and I am proof that it takes a while to get there. As far as walking goes, yesterday was the first day where I felt like I could walk for a long time and not be exhausted afterwards. I've been like walking to a street corner and back, and then maybe walking, like the first day I just walked around my front yard for a little while. But today I felt like I could go for quite a bit of a walk. Unfortunately, then a torrential downpour of rain happened. But you know, that's what tomorrow's for. And we walked around the store for a little bit and a couple of times, and it works. But all in all, even so close to all of the little bits of pain and everything, I'm so happy. So happy. Oh, stats. Probably should have done that first, but I didn't. I started this journey at my pre-op weight of 278, I believe. Yep, 278. On the day of surgery, I was 268, so down 10 pounds from the 3-week pre-op diet. And today, I weighed in at 268.8. Is that right? Yeah. No, 269.8. So that's down about 9 pounds? A little, like 8.2. I feel like I'm cheating myself now because I don't know if it was 268.8 or 269.8. Either way, somewhere in between 8 and 9 pounds in a week? Yeah, I'll take it. I've never lost that much weight in a week. I'm not expecting to do that every week, but for right now, I'm a happy camper, and I'll leave it at that. Wow, this is an extremely long video. In the future, they will be much shorter. Anyway, have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Stay tuned. Bye.